Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road, and you're ready to go if you want to.
Great.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today. Live Music Nation Podcast Festival Edition. Today's a special one. We've got John Young from Young's Dairy. They host a series of weekends throughout the fall. John, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Good to talk to you.
John, give us a little background on you. Where'd you grow up? Talk a little bit about your family and your career.
Yep. So I grew up here just outside of Yellow Springs, Ohio. Our family business has been here since 1869. I haven't been around quite that long, but we started as a farm in the 50s. We started selling stuff directly to the public. We started selling milk. In the 80s, we started making and selling our own ice cream. Since then, we've expanded into selling cheese. We have about 1 million customers a year. Really, we've turned into kind of a destination location. In the late 90s, early 2000s, we added too many golf courses, driving range, batting cage, slide, and a lot of fall events. So that's where we get a lot of our guests that come once or twice a year. They'll typically just come in the fall because we've got pumpkins and corn and all that fun.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. For the listener that has never been there, paint a picture for them, and then we'll talk about the other things as well.
Yep. So we're about a mile north of Yellow Springs, located kind of central Ohio between Dayton and Columbus. If you're not super familiar with the specifics of Ohio, we're in between, cornfields like most of Ohio. But you get here, we just built a new building that I'm sitting in right now. We built it in August of 21. So if you have been here but haven't been here in a while, you're going to see a gross difference between our old store, which was built in the 60s, to this one, which is about 3 times as big. Our guests continued to tell us that there wasn't enough space, wasn't enough bathroom space, wasn't enough line space on the busy days. So you come here, we make our own ice cream. As you're standing in line for your ice cream, you can watch it being made. Same thing for cheese. We're making ice cream and cheese every day of the year. You can watch the cows get milk twice a day. And then if you want to spend the day, you got, like I said, 2 mini golf courses, driving range, batting cage, slide, all the stuff.
Perfect. Okay, where did the concept for this come from? I'm making the assumption you guys were an established dairy and then decided to expand and provide some services for the community.
Yeah. So late 90s, we decided we had a couple of satellite stores in and around the area, Springfield, Fairborn, Enon. But most of the people wanted to come here because that's where they could watch the cows. And so we decided, hey, that's probably what we should be doing, is not just selling milk and ice cream, but also creating a destination for family fun. So our mission statement is we create fun for our customers. So anything we do centers around that. So mini golf certainly fit within that range. I'll tell you, I was 10 at the time we did the mini golf course. So I was amped for a mini golf course, but the rest of the family was confused. It was like, no, we are a farm that also sells ice cream. But it worked, and it worked so much that we built a second one about 10 years after that because the first one was too busy. So everything that we do centers around that mission statement, and so that makes my job exciting because we can continue to create fun things to do.
That's awesome. Does all the activity, does it affect the cows? Does it change their milk production in any way, shape, or form?
No, it's funny. So we're located near an Air National Guard base that my father-in-law was the commander of for a while, and they don't do it anymore. But they used to fly F-16s. And I don't know if anyone who's been around F-16 noise, not like at an airport, but nearby, you can't communicate when there's an F-16 flying over. It's deafeningly loud. And so you'd be out having a conversation with a guest or family member, and you'd have to stop that conversation for a good 20 seconds, let the plane fly over, then you could start that conversation up. The cows had zero impact. They did not care. They didn't run. They didn't scatter. They didn't look. They're whatever. That's just other noise. So no, the cows they're super curious animals. If you go to our website, most of the pictures you'll see of the cows are taken by me. If you go out to the pasture, and I usually I can get 1 or 2 cows by themselves for 2 to 3 minutes, and then you're surrounded by cows. What are you doing out here? So I have a video of last time I went out there. I was taking a picture of a couple underneath a tree, and then I started walking back. And all of a sudden, the entire herd was just following me like we were going somewhere specific. Yeah. I was just going back to the office. But they thought, where are we going? Let's go.
That's great. The concept to bring the community to the farm. Who's the brainchild behind that? Grandpa, grandma, who?
I'll give my dad the credit. So I'm 4th generation, dad 3rd generation. So that was when it really started to evolve from the 2nd generation to the 3rd generation in terms of not just making milk, not just making ice cream. We turned it into an entertainment thing. So my dad and I call him my uncle, but he's a cousin. Everyone's a cousin. We have a lot of cousins here. So he's too old to be a cousin for me. So I call him Uncle Ben. They really sat and collaborated. They created that mission statement, and so that's kind of when it's really started to take hold. But the whole family is involved in all the decisions that we make.
Very cool. Very cool. Talk about your employees and the role that they play in these events.
I mean, huge. We're a great first job for a lot of kids around the area. We've got lots of local high schools, lots of local universities, and it's convenient because we're busiest April through October. Those are the times that high schoolers are looking for jobs, specifically first jobs. A lot of college kids are home for the summer, so they come back for us. So we'll have 250, 300 employees during our peak times, which is right now. Then as the real bummer is when they start going back to school in September and October, when we really need them to stick around. We just had a conversation about that this morning. We're already, it's early July. We're already counting our chickens for late September and October. Like how many of these people are going to be around? Do we need to hire a lot more people? But we do a great job training our staff, which is why we've got a great reputation for a good job for kids. You're really thrown into the fray. We'll have lines of people out the door waiting for ice cream. So it's good customer service experience, good dealing with good problem solving experience. But we have flexible schedules. We're not making these kids work any more than they want to. It's become more challenging over the years as generations evolve, but we're finding new ways to get through that.
Give me a story. Give me a story. Let's give me a story of just a random visitor came to your dairy and it changed their life. You got something like that?
So the thing that I really like, I was talking about our generations, our third and fourth generations, is not just the generations of us hanging around. So our last second generation young passed 2 years ago. So there was a stretch where there's 3 generations of people working here, and the oldest of the 5th generation, she just turned 14, so she's going to start working here soon. So I think that's cool. But the cool part is the other side of it is the generational guests that we've had. So we were shooting some commercials. This pre-pandemic, so let's say 2019, in the summer, and we were going around shooting, getting guests to talk about ice cream, getting guests to talk about their experience at Young's. They were a 4-generation family that had been coming to Young's. So it was this guy's great grandmother that brought his grandparents first. Grandparents brought the parents. Parents are now bringing the kids. So I think that's super cool. That it's not just because you don't see generational businesses hardly at all unless you're the Waltons. You really don't see small business, generational business, because it just doesn't last. So we're creating memories for our guests to keep coming back. So whether it's getting your picture in front of the pumpkin patch sign, or when my daughter was born, we have 2 play tractors that I used to drive one of them, which is fun, but they're kind of out for the kids to play on. And I posted that picture on Facebook, as you do, with my daughter. And then everyone in my comment feed said, I have my first picture of me on the tractor. I saw my first picture of my parents on the tractor. Like it's crazy to think that you get outside the bubble of, okay, we need to serve a lot of ice cream today because there's a lot of people here today. But it's not just people coming in for ice cream; it's people making memories with their families. So I love that part of it.
Oh, it's fantastic. All right, listen, these are just 2 fun questions. I'm in live music. I'm in live entertainment. So I always just like to survey the nation. We're just getting started in Ohio, so this is going to be interesting. John, what's the best concert you've ever seen?
So as a matter of fact, we were just talking about this last weekend with my wife. We were jamming to something on the way home from the in-laws pool, and Spice Girls came on. And I told my wife this, but my daughter, she's 8, she's first of all not aware who the Spice Girls are. And I was like, I went to see the Spice Girls down at Riverbend. It was with my band director and a couple of other fellow band geeks. It was a great show. I mean, it was when you're 16, male, 98% girls, and probably a similar ratio to a Taylor Swift concert. That was great. But the concert itself was great. It was a good show. But if you want something a little bit more masculine than that, I saw Eddie Vedder in Florence. I've seen him twice now. But just Eddie Vedder by himself in Florence that's probably the best show I've ever actually seen. All
right. Now this is even going to be better. Dead or alive, you could bring one musical act to Young's Dairy for your community. You just clear out a pasture, you hold a party. Dead or alive, you could bring any musical act. Who would you bring?
Used wax. I had another performer, but let me think.
Well, go ahead. No, it could be any performer.
Well,
yeah, any artist.
Well, so we've been, since we built this new building, we've got a large brick area out front. We call it our piazza, and we were doing Tuesday night performances. And I don't know if you know this local Yellow Springs comedian Dave Chappelle, but it would be a hoot if if we were just out there doing some open night comedy thing, and then Dave Chappelle rolls in. And
has he been into the dairy? Has he been to?
Yeah. So when he does his summer shows there, I'm looking at where it is. It's just on the other side of our property. So he just did one here over the past weekend. And I don't know if I've seen him in the new building, but I've talked to him a couple of times in and around.
That's fantastic.
But that would just be, I mean, I don't know if all of our guests would like it, but I think it would be funny for me.
Yeah.
Really all I'm here for.
Absolutely. John, thank you so much for being on. How do people find out more about Young's Dairy and they can make their, I mean, we're going to have people from California, Hawaii, Alaska traveling in just to see this. I'm going to come. So how do people find out more information about you?
Yeah, so youngsdairy.com is all of our stuff, and we're on most of the socials. We're on TikTok even. I got some of young kids.
Do you have a TikTok for just like one single cow?
We should have just a single cow. Well, our brand TikTok hasn't really taken off, so I don't know if I want to start another TikTok. But yeah, we've got customers all over the place. We used to do a thing called Young's Around the World, where people would get a Young's T-shirt, take a picture. We've got seven pictures from Antarctica, so We've got all the continents covered. So we've got people from all over the place. But yeah, youngsdairy.com is where we're at. We're located just a mile north of Yellow Springs, Ohio.
Oh, very good. John, you're doing amazing things. Thanks for helping us. I appreciate it.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks, Jake.
You bet.
Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road, and you're ready to go if you want to.